Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Unrestricted Sports. I am Brendan. I'm joined by co-host Nolan, and today we are breaking down the NBA Western Conference playoffs that are upcoming very soon. And I'm pretty excited to talk about them. I have a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna let Nolan start off here because he has a whole little bracket that he made up for this.
Yeah, so obviously, if you're watching this video, you probably already know the matchups. So Ben and I are just here to provide a little bit of analysis on each matchup, how we think it's going to shake out, why, stuff like that. So we'll start off with what a lot of people are probably just assuming the Lakers are going to dominate in this series. I actually don't have them dominating. So the 1v8 is Lakers versus Blazers. And I have this going 7 games. I know Brent and I have harked on the Lakers a lot, and obviously I don't want to say the Lakers are a bad team because they're not. They have the best small forward in the game, the best power forward in the game, solid depth, etc. But this Blazers team is hot right now. Damian Lillard's playing with passion. We got the old Carmelo Anthony back. CJ McCollum's a good role player. Role player in the sense that he's not Damian Lillard, more or less. He's not like a role player, if you know what I'm saying. And then you have Yusuf Nurkic, who's just swallowing rebounds. So I see this series going 6 or 7 games. Blazers putting up an extremely tough fight, but in the end, I think the Lakers are probably just going to take this.
So, with the Lakers, let me preface this by saying I want them to win it all, okay? But that being said, they did not look good in the bubble at all. Even before they had the number 1 overall seed clinched, it just wasn't pretty. It didn't look convincing. And I just really don't like the idea of not playing your hardest, or even like to the extent that they did. Like, you can play a little less, but like don't just get yourself slaughtered out there going into the playoffs. I just don't agree with that. I still think that the Lakers are probably going to win this in probably 5 games. But that being said, the Blazers are obviously very hot. They could. I mean, obviously, there's always a chance that they could win the series, but I don't see that happening. I see the Lakers. I see the Lakers winning it all this year. So,
yeah, I don't. If they play how they've been playing in the bubble, I don't see that happening. But like I said, anything can happen.
Right.
So next, an interesting matchup is Rockets and Thunder. Again, this is similar to the Blazers-Lakers series. I have going 6 or 7 games. Ultimately, I think strictly because Russell Westbrook is going to miss games to start the series, I think the Rockets are going to suffer early in the series, and I think that's going to give the Thunder a chance to run away with it. And that's why I have them winning the series. I think the Thunder are led extremely well by Steven Adams and Chris Paul, and then you have role player guys like Schroeder off the bench, and then obviously guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who are just playing extremely well and extremely consistent. That's not to say the Rockets are a bad team or that they don't stand a chance against the Thunder, because they definitely do, and that's purely because of the duo of Harden and Westbrook, but with Westbrook's absence in the first couple of games, I think that's really going to affect them, unless James Harden can really just dominate.
Is he really missing 2 games in the first 2 games of the series?
Yeah, he's injured, I believe.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
It didn't say he's missing 2 games or 3 games. It just said he's going to miss games at the beginning of the series.
I also don't like that he's coming back off an injury, because we've seen that sort of situation before with KD.
Yeah.
And listen, both these teams are really good, but if either one was missing part of their core duo guys, who are really the guys who do all the heavy lifting, either one gained the immediate advantage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see situations where the Rockets still pull out wins in the first 2 games, or however many games it takes for Westbrook to get back, but OKC is probably going to take those matchups, and that puts them in a big advantage. So I have to lean more OKC, but I could see the Rockets coming back, obviously. But
yeah.
OKC definitely has a very big advantage with Westbrook being out.
Yeah,
otherwise, I'd probably favor the Rockets.
Yeah, I don't want to discount the Rockets either, because James Harden and that small ball lineup that the Rockets run can or could dominate the Thunder. But I think with everything chemistry-wise that they've worked up over this time in the bubble, I can't see the Rockets beating the Thunder without Westbrook.
Yeah.
So probably the easiest matchup to predict, in my opinion, and this is the 3v6 seed with the Nuggets versus the Jazz. Another case where starting point guard for the Jazz will miss either a couple games or the whole series, and that's Mike Conley. His son was just born, so he had to fly back to his hometown and experience the birth of his child. So he's not going to be there for at least a couple of games, probably the whole series. And that's not the only reason I have the Nuggets winning. I think the Nuggets are just going to dominate this series. I think the Nuggets are just too good of a team against the Jazz, at least. If the Nuggets can get scrimmage game Bol to play well, I think Bol with Jokic and Jamal Murray and the like is just going to tear things up. It's that simple. I think they're too good at rebounding. They're too consistent on offense to really be stopped by the Jazz.
Well, I don't know. For me, I have the Jazz winning it because Rudy Gobert is going to shut down the whole team, and the Jazz will win by default. But in all seriousness, Denver is probably going to win out here. I mean, it's a 3v6 seed, so it's not like it's very overwhelming difference, but obviously missing a guy, I mean, obviously no fault of his own. He's going to see the birth of his child. I don't think anyone can fault him for that. But with that being said, it does put his team at a disadvantage. I mean, there's no denying that. But I think the Nuggets probably have this wrapped up in 6 games, maybe 7.
Yeah.
I think that they'll win it. I just don't think it's going to be as overwhelming because there are multiple reports that he's going to be back by the second, third game. So,
yeah,
the Jazz.
Yeah. So moving on here to the 2-7 Clippers Mavericks. This is probably the most debatable one that I have in the entire playoffs, and I have the Mavericks winning in 7.
Really?
I know you probably disagree with me. And before I talk about why, I want to preface that the Clippers are a good team. Clearly, they have 2 of the best small forwards in the game in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They have insane depth, ridiculously good coaching. If the Lakers weren't the 1 seed, I seriously think the Clippers, would make a run for the title. But I think the only reason I have the Mavericks winning this series is the magic of Luka Doncic with Kristaps Porzingis. I think it's just I'll tell you this much. I'm not going to be shocked if the Clippers take the series. Not at all. Something's telling me that Luka Doncic is going to have MVP numbers and just show out and dominate.
I disagree. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like both of those guys a lot, but I don't think they can compete with Kawhi right now with what they've got. I think Kawhi and the Clippers, I mean, barring Kawhi's, I'm not sure what his condition is. Isn't it like an arthritis situation?
I think.
Barring that flaring up, I don't see how the Clippers are going to lose this to the Mavericks. So I'm going to say Clippers in 4, maybe 5.
Well, clearly very differing opinions on that. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to be shocked if the Clippers take this series. They obviously have the upper hand on defense. But again, MVP numbers from Luka, followed by solid role playing off of Luka. In guys like Kristaps Porzingis, I think could lead to an upset. But again, not going to be shocked if the Clippers take it.
Well, that's pretty much it for today's episode, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you liked today's video. This was our Western Conference playoffs breakdown. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because we're going to be doing this for the Eastern Conference as well. And yeah, we will see you guys next time.